2 weeks ago, I would have said, hell no. But the way they booked Gunther, why the hell not?
Welcome to the Pin Down, the Sports Illustrated Pro Wrestling Show. Kent Brown and Gene Chery coming at you. 2 major events on the horizon. We will cover those shortly, but we want to get right to a topic that we discussed a little bit off the air that we said we must lead off with, and that's, should John Cena actually retire? He's been great. The heel turn's working. So, Gene, I ask you, should he reconsider this retirement?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We consider John Cena one of the GOATs of pro wrestling, right? And what do GOATs do? They come out of retirement. We saw Brady do it. We saw Jordan do it. So why not John Cena, being one of the top superstars ever to grace a WWE ring? He should come back. And this isn't like professional sports, right? Where you have to play every game, have to be at every playoff game, or have to show up and suit up every single night. This is pro wrestling. This dude could take a Roman Reigns type schedule and only show up for the major events, for the road to WrestleMania, for a SummerSlam, and fans would be completely satisfied. I think Cena has shown us this dude still has a lot left in the tank. I can't imagine what WWE is going to look like when this dude finally hangs it up. So if I'm WWE, I'm having a conversation with him now. I'm not waiting until December. Saying, John, here's a check. Here's a contract. What do you want? And we will make it happen for you. You cannot let this guy retire. And if he is going to retire, make it a very, very hard decision for him to actually walk away.
Yeah, I love that you brought up the actual pro sports element of this, because unlike pro sports, your body breaks down. You no longer have that elite ability. You know, you're even seeing it with LeBron James right now, where the writing's on the wall on how much further he can go. But in pro wrestling, it's way different. We have storylines. You don't have to actually be in a match every week. You can really, as you said, save it for 2 events a year. You can save it for a marquee event down the line. Heck, you can tag team it where you're only in the ring for a few minutes in a match if need be. There's a lot that you can do. And what we're seeing with this John Cena run, we're seeing him not only present himself as a heel, but ultimately when he turns back babyface, he's going to be as over as he's ever been. And that's where it's hard. If you're Triple H, if you're Nick Khan, if you're the WWE, if you're TKO, how do you look at this and say, we're going to just take all this guaranteed money, all this guaranteed gate that a babyface John Cena, who's as over as ever, is going to dictate, and say, yes, stay retired? I don't think it makes that much sense. Also, let's be real, in the world of pro wrestling, there's almost never been anybody who stayed retired. So it's not like fans are going to be upset if John Cena rolls around in 2 years and shows up for another Royal Rumble or WrestleMania run. I understand he's a movie star now. That's probably the world he wants to be in for the most part. But there's no reason that pro wrestling can't work as a side gig, as a hobby. And when he's back, as we said, he's business. It's not like John Cena a few years ago, where Cena was kind of coming back and he was almost a mid-carder, or he'd open a show. John Cena then, it made more sense to maybe say it's time to go away. But now John Cena's been headlining event after event after event, and he's been the face of the company since the Royal Rumble, where Jey Uso eliminated him late and we were shocked. So I look at John Cena right now and I'm saying, if you're at your peak and you're going to be the top babyface in the company when you quote unquote retire, it's a little bit hard to believe that that's going to be where it ends. So I'm with you, Gene. I feel like come up with some solution. Don't let it be known. Make it be a surprise when you finally come back. But who's going to really be upset if you hear John Cena's music go off in a year or two and he's still fighting in the ring?
No, nobody's going to be upset. And we see guys like The Rock, even last year, which many would consider WrestleMania 40 2-night event, one of the greatest ever. And that's with The Rock barely wrestling at all. Like you said, we could put him in a tag match. We could have him as a manager, have him lead a faction, something. But Cena is way too talented for them to simply let him walk away from competing. It's been done in the past. We saw Austin come out of retirement, face Kevin Owens. These things happen. So for anyone thinking John Cena has no shot at coming out of retirement, I would say pause on that, because this is pro wrestling and anything can happen.
Yeah, and look at the TKO element. Look how much UFC would love to have a star like John Cena and be able to roll him out there for as long as he can. unlike pro wrestling, the UFC is dictated based on actual wins and losses, and guys get injured. Now, there's injuries in pro wrestling, but the fact that John Cena can always come back is why the WWE has that upper hand over so many other forms of entertainment, because at the end of the day, it's storyline driven, and you can decide how you want to utilize your stars. Let's now turn the page to our 2 count and discuss one of the 2 events coming up this weekend in Atlanta, and that's the Evolution pay-per-view, the PLE, the second Evolution that they've ever had, all women's match card. But Saturday night, we have another event at Allstate Arena that is almost, if not in a way outshining it, Gene, it's certainly making the Evolution card feel like a second part of a 2-parter. So my question to you is, does it feel like the Evolution PLE is getting a bit buried?
I think you're putting it nicely, man. It is getting buried. It is getting buried. The big talk about this weekend is Goldberg's retirement match. And that's no disrespect to the women, because this card on paper looks incredible. And I wish they could have had the proper build to get the credit and the love it deserves. But no attention has been given. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not even seeing where Nikki Bella has a fact
in the battle royal now. Yeah, because of that Liv Morgan injury, and she was considered one of the headliners a couple weeks ago.
You telling me you couldn't have put Nikki in a better spot, her big comeback, and you couldn't, and then you're gonna waste her comeback on a battle royal? To me, that makes absolutely no sense. I think the ladies have been. I wouldn't be happy if I was one of the in the locker room right now, because they deserve so much credit. I got a chance to talk to Nikki Bella, and she had so much hype. Granted, this was before the Liv injury, but she said this was going to be one of the best PLEs of the year. Granted, it can still perform well. That's the best part about it. These ladies, if I'm them, you're probably thinking, hey, let's put on a show. Let's put on a banger. Like whatever they're doing on Saturday, whatever they're doing on Friday, who cares? This is going to be our weekend. They may steal the show, but the hype around it, they are not being put in a really good position to succeed. I'm not sure why they did it, especially since it's the second one. This is a monumental event on paper, but to me, I just don't see the buzz around it, honestly.
Yeah, and it's one of those 2 that you have the Saturday night's main event. You also have AEW having one of their signature events the same night as Evolution 2. So that becomes kind of a head-to-head feud that's probably not what the women would want, kind of stealing their spotlight a little bit. And then you mentioned the Liv injury changed up the Nikki Bella storyline. We've had to sort of rewrite things. There's good matches on this card, and no doubt it will be entertaining. But I feel like if you're going to put the second all-women's pay-per-view or PLE together, you want it to be at a time where it's a standalone 3-week, 4-week, 5-week build. We know SummerSlam's a few weeks away. Why not maybe have this be all by itself, no Saturday night's main event? And then that way it really feels like, because you watched Raw this week, and as you said, it almost felt like they were setting up Saturday night's main event as much as they were setting up anything else.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily what you think you would want for your second headlining all women's signature event that will be on Peacock by itself. So let's now go to our final topic, and we have to discuss Goldberg and Gunther. We've discussed Gunther so many times on this show. We brought up Goldberg being a guy that showed up and instantly got a title shot, much like Trish Stratus is getting her title shot at Evolution. So it's not a whole lot different, by the way. Both a woman and a male legend are getting those title shots this weekend. But Goldberg's back in his hometown in Atlanta. Gunther did not look weak on Raw. He was the chicken you-know-what heel that rolled out of the ring. I thought he was going to get speared in the middle of the ring. I'm glad they're saving that for Saturday night. We know we're going to see a spear. We just don't know how much damage it will do. So, Gene, should Goldberg win his retirement match as champion?
You know, if you would have asked me this, Kent, like 2 weeks ago, I would have said, hell no. But the way they booked Gunther, why the hell not, man? Like, why the hell not? Like, 2 weeks ago, CM Punk shoved him to the ground. Gunther did absolutely nothing. Or a couple nights ago on Raw, Goldberg punked him out. Like, why not just take the strap off of him? Because at the end of the day, you're proving this guy is scared of anyone he's in the ring with, not named Jey Uso. So I could see Goldberg very much winning, because that crowd reaction on Monday night was crazy in Providence. They were behind Goldberg, man. And that crowd in Atlanta, they're expecting this man to win. So I don't see why you wouldn't put it on Gunther and maybe run it back at SummerSlam and have Gunther eventually win that title back. But to give Goldberg his his quote unquote final match, I think I would not bet against this man to lose against just off the way that Gunther's been getting booked. I could see Goldberg winning that matchup. Should it happen? Absolutely not. But the way Gunther's been booked, I'm cool with either way at this point.
Yeah, I think you have to have Gunther win it. But the disappointment is we know we're going to see him look weak again in a win. The same way it happened with McAfee, the same way it's happened a few times on Monday Night Raws. And then we keep hearkening to this, but it's true. He's lost his last 2 WrestleMania matches as champion. So we're in a perfect world. He would dominate Goldberg. He would wipe the floor with him. And 6-7 minutes later, he leaves champ. He's going to take some spears. He's going to take some spears early. There's no doubt. I think probably 5 seconds into the match, Goldberg's getting a spear and a 2 count, or maybe not even a 2 count. Goldberg sets him up for a second spear, and then the match really starts. But for Gunther, they have to start building him as the strong, animalistic, I'm going to be the champion that's unbeatable, the same way we've seen some heel champions in the past. Because if he needs a former pro football punter to take 20 minutes to beat and a 60-year-old Goldberg 20 minutes to beat, that doesn't sit well.
20 minutes.
Well, I won't go 20 minutes, but even if it goes longer than 5, it would almost be too much. But should Goldberg win, I will say this, the headlines would be bigger if Goldberg leaves champion and quote unquote retires as champion. We opened the show talking about Cena's retirement. If Goldberg finds a way to win, then there is that SummerSlam rematch that all of a sudden Goldberg says, I'm retired, I'm handing over the title. And Gunther says, no, you're not. One more match and gets it back. So that would set up a proper rematch and a SummerSlam headline match with Goldberg as champ. But I think Gunther has to win this. If you really are going to give him another title run, he can't lose this match and then beat Goldberg a month later, in my opinion. I just don't like how that sets up his career and his title run.
I just wonder, with SummerSlam so close, I just don't see this feud ending on Saturday. And if Gunther, like you said, beats Goldberg, who can you quickly set up for a 2-night SummerSlam event? I think a rematch with Goldberg is almost a surefire thing. It's just looking at the tea leaves, considering how close these PLEs are together. Like, this is crazy. But yeah, man, I love Gunther. I think he's been booked. I've said this multiple times. I think he's been booked super poorly because you can't be seen as a super strong champion if, like you said, Pat McAfee is taking you 20 minutes to beat. You're getting choked out. You're choking at WrestleMania at back-to-back years. Old guys who aren't even champions don't even respect you. I'm still hung up on the CM Punk interaction. I don't know what was going on with that. A strong stare down between those two would have been epic. No physical contact, just a stare down and CM Punk walks away. Would have done much better than Gunther getting shoved to the ground. But Goldberg this weekend, I think they're going to put the strap on him because, like you just said, I didn't even think about it. Headlines, sell tickets. Goldberg walking away in Atlanta, holding that World Heavyweight Championship, and he's supposed to retire. That's a way bigger story than Gunther walking away on Saturday night's main event.
It does set up for a compelling main event on Saturday night. We have Evolution on Sunday night. It should be a great weekend of pro wrestling, and that's going to wrap it up here for another version of Sports Illustrated's The Pin Down. Kent Brown and Gene Chery. Keep it locked in. We'll be back next week.